The kid Nas is back at it again, providing opportunity. What are we talking about? The Nasir Jones Hip Hop Fellowship at Harvard University. Application is now open. I know you're thinking, why is this important? That's a great question. Well, I got a question for you. How many times have you heard people say hip hop belongs in the classroom? Think about it. You hear it a lot, right? But when it comes to funding, uh, resources for studying, or even taking it seriously, how many people step up? Now imagine this. Hip hop has an official fellowship at Harvard, which they've had for over a decade now. The Nasir Jones Hip Hop Fellowship. And it's named after a prolific MC, lyricist, writer, and just a caretaker of the hip hop community. And he's providing opportunity for individuals all across the globe. Now, why is this important? This fellowship matters because it fixes something that's been broken for a long time that many people don't speak about. Hip hop has always been treated like an add on, an extra ad lib or chorus. But this is a way to get people interested. But it's great that they're treating it as a source of knowledge going forward, not just decoration. Um, and when you name it after someone like Nasir Jones, the primary focus is lyrics and text, uh, albums, arguments or debates, hip hop authors and writers. That's a major shift as opposed to just trying to get people's eyeballs on the culture just because it's popular, if you get what I'm saying. It's about positioning hip hop correctly. And like I always state, knowledge and education is everything. Without it, we're just speaking for the sake of speaking because each generation should benefit from the generation before it, right? Each one teach one, and we keep pushing the genre and the culture forward. And I love this fellowship opportunity for individuals who are indeed interested. Now, I know this is a change of pace from talking about verses and albums and marketing schemes and things of that nature. But it's important, like I stated before, because it's education. And this fellowship resides at Harvard University, like I stated, the W.E. Du Bois Research Institute. That's important because if you know W.E. Du Bois, or have done any research or read anything about him, you would know that he was all about truth, structure, and just lived experience. So hip hop isn't about being studied here as a trend, but as a lifestyle. It's being studied as evidence as well, history, social conditions, identity, resistance, community voices, which are needed. There's a completely different level of respect. Once again, when you attach names that are prevalent in the community, that have some sense of credibility, and are still active. And I know you're thinking, yo, Ease, you gave us a bunch of information, but what does this mean? Who is this really for? Well, it's not just for professors. It's just not for people on the academic staff. It's for you. It's for hip hop educators building curriculum, teachers who use hip hop to teach literacy, history, or health. It could be researchers studying student engagement through culture, cultural historians, uh, documented scenes and movement of the culture, writers, filmmakers, uh, artists who take the time to preserve history or the culture or the stories. This is for anyone who's been putting in the work over the years and who just doesn't see the culture as something that's trendy. And this opportunity is something great because it just gives you something to push forward and towards, right? Because sometimes you can feel like you're just yelling at a wall, but when you get an opportunity for resources to work on projects that you've uh, always had an affinity for, why not? Now that we know who is it for, this is why you should seek the opportunity because your project doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't work there. I don't have any inner workings, but anyone who's ever dealt with educational assignments or fellowships or just been a part of a cohort, you know that perfection isn't necessarily the goal. It's about learning along the way. It doesn't have to be polished or have any critical acclaim. It just has to matter. And I know that could be subjective, but at least for me, something that matters with being curriculum pilots, um, research, community based educational tools or programs, cultural documentation, things along that line, the things that matter. You know what it is. You don't need a whole soliloquy or a syllabus based upon that. We know what matters, and we're speaking about positive things. You know what I'm saying? So this fellowship, at least for what I've read up on, checks all those boxes. Why not involve yourself in it? And I'm going to say, as someone who takes education very serious, this is huge for education. Let's talk classroom reality. When students see their culture respected, engagement goes up. When your language or your conversations are valued, your confidence increases as well. When curriculum reflects things that you are accustomed to or familiar with, it taps into something in people's or students' learning gets a bit deeper. And because it's connected to Hip Hop Archives and Research Institute, this work won't disappear when the trend changes. We hear that a lot. Yo, it's trendy. When we're talking about archives are set in stone, right? So it gets preserved. So the invitation itself is out there. It was on Nasir's IG post. I just figured that this was very important because we get so enamored with the things around hip hop itself, with what's trendy, what's viral, what everyone is talking about. But I'm big on education, and I figured that I would remind you all or just introduce the idea to you. So if you know someone that fits this criteria, the deadline is January 30th. That's this month. That's roughly 2 weeks from now, a little less than that. But more important, the date is just a mindset. If you ever been told this is too cultural, this isn't academic enough, this won't be taken seriously, this fellowship is proof that the problem was never your work. You were just early to the party. So this is an opportunity to make it happen. So in short, salute to Nas in the Nasir Jones Hip Hop Fellowship at Harvard University. Hip hop doesn't need permission. That's not what this is about, because someone is going to state that. This is not about seeking validation or permission. This is about opportunity. It's about positioning within curriculum, archives, scholarship, discussion, discourse, all the adjectives that you can possibly think about when it comes to learning. But also in spaces that understand culture, that creates knowledge. And hopefully this got your attention. So if you're interested, once again, make it happen. Nasir Jones, Hip Hop Fellowship at Harvard University. You can go to his IG page. The information is there. Or you can just simply Google the words that I stated, and I'm pretty sure you'll find the application. You got 2 weeks to make it happen. Best of luck to those who submit applications. And if you don't get the call, it's all right. Stay in tune. You'll have an opportunity next year or the year after that. But I can tell you one thing, when it comes to different programs, the amount of applicants do matter, because if many or very few people submit, what's the point of keeping it going, right? So demand is everything. So get out there. If you respect hip hop, if you consider yourself to be an intellectual in some sense, or a historian, or someone who just loves the history or respects it, this opportunity is for you. Remember, you can achieve anything in this world with sheer hard work and patience. It's your man Ease at the Ease Experience. God is the greatest. Go get your shit.
Hey yo,